Hi everyone, welcome back to Sunday Scaries at Grandma's. My name is Erica Gambatese.
Hi, my name is Sharon Gambatese, Erica's grandmother.
Thank you for coming back and joining us again. From here on now, we decided to start recording episodes every other week instead of every week, just to help us a little bit with our schedules and things like that. So thank you so much for joining us, and we just wanted to get that out there. Today, we are going to talk about making friends and also personality types as our topic. So, Mimi,
Yes.
do you think that making friends nowadays is easier or harder compared to when you were my age?
Well, I was married at your age,
Yeah.
so
Well,
I know that has nothing to do with it. Wait a minute.
but like you think maybe like in like your 20s was it easier to make friends than it might be now or
No, I think it's easier for me now.
yeah. Well, so I was thinking like I think that it's kind of like two things that kind of contradict each other because I think that social media is like helping people meet other people and things like that and make friends. But at the same time, I also think that social media is kind of making people more like socially awkward because like they don't really know how to interact with people in
I
person.
agree with that.
So I think it's one of those things where it's like you can meet people through social media and like maybe you can be friends like online, but then when you meet in person, like I feel like people are kind of having a harder time like talking in person and meeting people now because of social media and just how they're so like not used to like conversing in person.
It could be true.
And then also, of course, with like the pandemic and things like that. But I just think that was like an interesting like viewpoint, I guess, kind of how they can like contradict each other because like thinking for me, like in the past, I've always made friends like through school,
Right.
really.
That's when you do your high school
Right.
friends.
So like I had my high school friends, which are like people I've known like forever. And then when I was going to college, I met my college roommate over Facebook before we lived together.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can't, which I thought was like, it ended up honestly working out great because like she's still like one of my best friends and we lived together for all 4 years, which is like pretty rare.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But yeah, I know. So a lot of people don't have that experience with roommates. So I got lucky, of course, but well, I find it interesting how like I met her over Facebook before I went to college. What do you think about that? Like, like isn't that's just like so would be so out of reality.
Right.
Anything like that when you were like my
No,
age.
of course not.
Yeah, so but yeah, so like I met her over Facebook, like in a Facebook group before college, which is interesting. And then like we became good friends, and then like me and her kind of together did stuff where we like met other friends.
So you made a lot of friends in Tampa through her, right?
Well, yeah, I mean I wouldn't say I made like a lot of friends. Like, I feel like I had a close group of friends in Tampa and like we were kind of like acquaintances with a lot of people. But like I had a close group of girlfriends in Tampa, but I was mostly just like I mean, really for like the first semester of school, it was like me and my roommate, like against the world. Like we
Yeah.
didn't have any friends, and I think we both were kind of homesick. But she had some friends from high school who were there, and then we met our other friend Kendra our freshman year, just like going out and stuff. So we met her, and like it was kind of one of those things I remember in college my freshman year where we would meet like a bunch of girls and stuff and we'd be like, oh, like we should hang out sometime. Like we would meet like girls out and stuff. We'd be like, oh, like let's hang out sometimes, but then you never would hang out with
I know.
them.
That's what they say. Oh, we got to do lunch.
Right. So like we that kept happening to us, like Caitlin and I, my roommate. And so then finally when we met our friend Kendra, we met her and we were like, oh, we should hang out sometime. And it was just like one of those things where like, you know what, like we actually have to like ask her to hang out or else like we're never gonna make other friends, like because it was like we would always be like, oh, like let's hang out sometime, but then no one would text each other like, oh, let's actually do something. So then it was like when we met Kendra, like the next day, I think we asked her to like go get Chipotle
Did
with
she go with
us.
you?
Yeah, and then we went to a um, baseball game, the Rays game, all
Okay.
together. So then that's how like our like little friend group like started like our freshman year of college. But yeah, I was so then of course then I graduate college and then it was like really hard to make friends after college.
Well, you would go back to your high school friends.
Right, so like I moved home and like I still had like some friends from high school, but like it wasn't like a big group like it used to be.
Right. Oh my God, no.
Right, so it was so I ended up joining Bumble BFF, which I told you about, which
Yes.
is like Bumble is a dating app, but Bumble BFF is to make friends like over the same platform. And I liked it. It was like really out of my comfort zone though. Like the whole idea of it because like I am like pretty introverted and I'm like not good at meeting new people in
Well,
general.
I think that you're better now.
Well, yeah, but it's like something I've had to like really like force
I,
myself into because
I
it's
agree.
not like my first nature at all. And I would meet with like some people on there and like it was never like bad at all. But I don't know, it's kind of sometimes I just feel like it's kind of hard to like always like keep up with like you meet someone it's like always hard to like for your schedules to like meet enough where it becomes like regular, to hang out with someone. But my experience from like the app, like it's definitely was like out of my comfort zone. So like a lot of the time, like it would give me like anxiety and stuff about like going to like meet people. But like I've met some like really good people from it. So
You
that's a
did?
good thing. Well, yeah, like so well now it's like, Alexis, who's my friend from high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
And now it's like me, Alexis, and like Miranda, who I met from Bumble BFF. Like we hang out a lot
Oh,
together.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like when you FaceTime me, that was who I was
That's
watching
who.
The
Oh,
Bachelor with.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. She was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think you introduced me, Kendra. Yeah, okay.
Not Kendra, Miranda.
Oh, Maria, where did I get
Yeah.
Kendra?
Kendra's my roommate from college.
Oh,
Not yeah, so yeah,
uh,
that's from college, but yeah. But yeah, anyway, so um like I thought that the app was like great, but like it definitely takes like some time and I think it also just takes like the right like person and I guess it's also just like chance where it's like I feel like if your schedules don't really like match up for like enough times and people just like stop trying, I guess. But it's just like I don't know, it takes like a little bit of luck and it takes like a lot of courage, I guess, if that's not like your first nature. And like I don't know, like I was like ready to just like stop using the app and then like I ended up like meeting Miranda. Like she was like the last person I think I messaged on there. And
and
then
you,
we just ended up becoming like good friends. So it's like I
that's,
still talk to like a few people from high school and like Chelsea of course too and like Alexis, like we're all close, but it's just like other than like really like my high school group, like I just didn't have like anyone here when I moved back home.
no, I
And it was
understand.
like a lot harder to meet friends as like an adult. So like do you think that it's harder to meet friends like as an adult compared to when you're younger?
Speaking for myself, I attained friends when I was older.
Yeah, I think that well, this is something we're also going to talk about like later. It's like our personality types. Like I feel like you have like a very outgoing personality type and like a very like you make friends like very easily. And maybe like your personality has like changed, as you got older.
Yes.
Like I feel like now you're probably more outgoing than you were, maybe.
I know, when you were little, I used to say hi to everybody, and you
Oh
would say,
yeah.
"Why are you talking to them?"
Yeah.
Remember?
No. But
You don't?
no.
Okay, I always go, "Hi, how
Well,
are you?"
I've always known that you're like really outgoing, but I'm saying maybe when you were like younger, you weren't as outgoing. But I mean, I don't know. But I mean, personality types change and everything. But something that I've like seen a lot of people complain about is like how hard it is to make friends like once you're out of college. Because really, like the only way that you can make friends once you're out of college, besides like using social media or like running into people, I guess, is like through work. Because
Right,
that's like your like work is the replacement for school.
right. But you work by yourself, so
Well, yeah, like that's me, but like other than like for other people, like a lot of people will make friends like through work, but like they're saying it's really hard to make friends once you get out of college because you're not like with that environment where you're just like meeting new people all the time. And like I saw something interesting online, and a psychologist from the University of Maryland told NPR News that friendships need two things to grow organically, and those two things are continuous unplanned interactions and also shared vulnerability. And then she said that when you get older, like the environments that you're in, like those two things just become more and more rare. Because like if you think about it, like unplanned interactions, that's really just like school. Like for an unplanned interaction, like I think that maybe comparing it to you, like your unplanned interactions are like you seeing all the people that live here because like it
yes.
wasn't planned that you
No,
would keep seeing them because like you all guys all like lived in the same building.
yes.
So like that would be like an unplanned interaction that you just happen to get like lucky with.
I got lucky, yeah.
Right. But like a lot of people like don't even know the people that they live in the same
I
building with.
I know, that's
But
true.
like you definitely got like lucky with that. And
I
then it
did.
also was like since you guys got to see each other all the time, like you realized that you had like maybe similar personalities or like just enjoyed like hanging out.
Yeah, it's just, we laugh.
Right. Like your person I don't really know that many people that you live with, but like I'm saying like
Sherry.
right, I know Sherry, but like your personalities might even be different. It's just the fact that you guys like get along.
We do get along very
Right.
well.
So but like for me, like as far as unplanned interactions go, like I had really no unplanned interactions in my life that were like with other people. Like all my interactions were planned. And like going on the Bumble BFF was definitely like a planned interaction.
Okay.
So that's why I feel like which I find interesting cuz then it seems very like inorganic, you know, when you're like planning to meet people.
What do you mean it's inorganic?
Like it's not like a natural friendship that's happening.
Oh, okay.
Like you're like actively like going out of your way to plan a friendship, which is like makes it seem a little bit like inorganic and unnatural, which I think like can sometimes bring like more awkwardness and you just have to like accept that it's like awkward and then like just go on with that.
Well, you don't have to be friends with everybody. I mean, if you, that's what I want to know. What makes people click?
Right. Yeah, well, so I want to go into that like a little bit with like our personality quizzes that we took and like personality types because I think that like you know how people will say like oh like attracts
No, opposites
well like
attract.
opposites attracts but then it's like some people are like well opposites attract and some people are like well two people are similar attracts and what I find interesting is like I don't think that people have to be like similar to attract each other like you know I think that it's more so just like common interests and things like
Yeah, it is
that.
common interest.
Like, but I don't think your personality types have to be the same or anything like that. But yeah, like, I don't know. As far as like making friends goes in like today's world, like, I feel like it's definitely changed. And I think it's changed so much in the past few years because of COVID too, because now it's like people are saying that they had like close friends and they also had acquaintances before COVID.
Right.
But now after COVID, like, they don't really have acquaintances anymore because like those relationships didn't last through the pandemic. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I do know what you mean, but the only thing is then that's not what friends do. So you weren't meant to, you weren't meant to be together or whatever.
Right, but I guess it's more so just like having like less interaction. Like I feel like I had like a lot of people who I was like school friends with. Like I would see them in my classes and stuff and we would talk all the time and like text about like homework and stuff, but we wouldn't really like hang out like outside of school, I guess. And then it's like when I think everything went like virtual, like you didn't see them anymore. So it's like a lost interaction,
True.
which is like I guess what people are kind of talking about. So I think that like a lot of that has changed too. And then also I feel like a lot of people feel like a little bit more like socially anxious to like go out and do things because like they aren't used to talking to people anymore. Like a lot of people like were in lockdown. So I mean there's certain people who are like extroverts and they were in lockdown and they want to get out and talk to people because they were in lockdown for so long. And then there's certain people who are like introverts and now they're like afraid to go out and talk to people because they were in lockdown for so long and they're like afraid, you know.
I don't know. You have to look at the statistics for that one.
Well, I mean like for me, like I'm an introvert.
Yes.
So like I was like when the lockdown and everything was over, like lockdown was like a little bit relieving for me because like I didn't have the pressure to like go out and like talk to people.
I know a lot of people.
Right, but then like for someone like you who's like extroverted, like you probably hated it because you couldn't talk to people.
Well, no, but don't forget I have all these people just 10 feet away from me.
Right.
Upstairs.
But if you didn't, then you probably would like go crazy.
Oh, probably. Oh my God, for sure.
Because you wanted to go and talk to people. But like I know for like me and like for me just like in general, like I've always been like shy and like not like I guess like pretty like insecure about like how I interact in social situations and like for me like I feel like I've always like overthought social situations and like what I'm gonna say and then I also feel like it just like leads to me almost being like subconsciously like I feel like I just come across as like unapproachable sometimes because I'm like afraid to like talk to people. I mean it's like it's interesting because this is something that like I feel like I've struggled with like throughout.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, throughout, like, college and everything, like, I feel like I was always, like, afraid to, like, be in a situation where I was, like, talking to, like, someone who I wasn't that familiar with. So
Yeah.
I feel like it was so much like for me, like I just would come across as like unapproachable, I guess, because it would be like I was mostly just like anxious, but like it was kind of like a defense mechanism just to be like unapproachable and like maybe like just look like I didn't want to be there because like I was afraid to like talk to someone or like I just like felt so embarrassed that like I like couldn't talk to someone that I was just like, well, this will just be like
Do you think that,
better.
how did you think that happened, that you're afraid to talk to people?
I don't know. Well, I was always like so shy growing up, and like it's like interesting like how it just differs from situation to situation, and like this is why I think I'm just like more of an introverted person because like when I worked in a customer service job for like 6 years, like I worked in all throughout high school, like over the summers at college, like I worked at Pulp, like I was in a customer service job, and I feel like I can like easily like turn on the switch and like be a good like customer service person and talk to strangers like in that type of environment. But then when it came to like an environment like
Your
going
peers?
out to like bars or something, then it was like I felt like very like overwhelmed and like anxious and I didn't want to like really talk to people I wasn't comfortable with because then it was just like I was like was worrying about like running out of things to say and like things like that and then I don't know. And I also feel like I just genuinely like have a like a resting bitch face, like you know how people say.
It's, no, you do not. I don't see anything that you're talking about. I mean, I
Well,
know you are
okay.
shy.
Yeah, I was always shy, but like I think that like my face, do you know what a resting bitch face is? Like an RBF.
What?
It's like when your natural just sitting face like looks like you're mad.
I don't get that from you at all.
I do. Like a lot of people have told me that like I have an RBF. Like where it's like my natural face like if I'm not like reacting to anything, I'm not talking to anyone, I'm just like standing there like I look like angry or like mad. And like it definitely is like not my choice at all. Like I've like definitely been like I wish I didn't have one and I've like tried to like be more bubbly and like I also have like a monotone voice, which I'm sure everyone has heard now from the podcast that my voice is very monotone, but it's like that's just how it naturally is. Like I have to try very hard to act like well, not to act enthused, but I have to try like really hard to like match my like tone of voice to other people's emotions, I
Do you want
guess.
to change yourself? Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, like I wish it wasn't that way, but like also like I've like tried to fight it for so long and now I'm just like that's just like who I am and it's like not my fault that I have a monotone voice.
I don't think you have a monotone voice.
I think I like definitely do, but it's like when I'm like excited about things, like it's not like how other people get excited, like their tone of voice changes. But for me, like my voice is just like you know how you when you call me and you're always like, "Did you just wake up?" And I'm like, "No."
Oh, yeah.
Like I didn't just wake like you'll call me at 3 p.m. and you're like, "Oh, did you just wake up?" And I'm like, "No,
Well, you
why?"
go, I mean, you go, hello.
I know.
Thinking that poor kid's sick or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just have a monotone voice and an RBF and it's like so like that's just like naturally how I am. Like I'm not choosing to be bitchy, but like it sounds bitchy sometimes to like random people who like might just be trying to like interact with me. So like and then I get like super like aware of it and like insecure about it. So then it's like I like try and like be different and then I'm just like feel so unnatural and then it just adds to like anxiety and like situations. So it's like I feel like in the past like it's been hard for me to make friends in like social situations like bars because it's like that's just like my like in that environment like I'm kind of just like insecure and like overthink and then I also feel like I'm insecure about like coming across as like unapproachable even though I've like tried to like not be, but it's just kind of like who I am and like fighting it just like makes it harder.
Yeah, well,
I
we
mean,
can,
I'm not unapproachable. I'm not actually unapproachable. I think I just look unapproachable sometimes.
I don't know.
But I don't know. But then like I was saying though, it's weird because like I feel like when it came to like customer service and like working with like actual strangers who were like buying a product I was selling, like I can easily be like very like bubbly. But like when it came to actually just like being my like self and like trying to like make friends, like it was like hard for me to like be in a bar and like not be like insecure about myself. But like I mean it's definitely something that I've like worked on and everything like that. But that was a whole entire rant that was unnecessary. Like, that was completely unnecessary.
Well, you got it off your chest. That's great.
I guess I need to stop doing that. But yeah, so that, as far as making friends go, that is my experience. Like, I don't like. Do you have like any experience with like making friends? Like, I feel like it just comes like so easy to you, like how you've made friends.
Well, I've had lifelong friends,
Right.
and I've had not so, wherever I worked, I caught a friend,
Yeah,
and we're still friends.
that's good.
Yeah. So, I don't find it hard at all. And when you get older, you don't care if they like you or not.
Right. Yeah, I think that like that's definitely true too. Just like how like I feel like when especially like I mean even compared to college and like now I think I care a lot less about like how I was like coming across
I
because
hope so.
like I feel like a lot of people in high school would be like you are like you're really intimidating. Like I remember I was like a mentor for students in high
Yeah, I
school
remember.
and I was working as a mentor with like someone in the grade below me and she was like I was always like really afraid of you.
I
Because
can't even get
she
one.
was like you were just like really intimidating, like I kind of thought that you just like were mean and I was like I'm not. Like I
No.
think it's just like my face and like I definitely don't like I do not choose to be like that at all, like how my face just sits, like I don't choose to be like that, like I and I'm like not, but I feel like in the past it's been like a subconscious like defense mechanism, like
It must
just to
be
be
because
like oh like you know if you're like afraid to talk to someone, like it's just like defense mechanism to maybe just be like either maybe I shouldn't be in a conversation with someone
why
or
not?
like just maybe act like you don't want to be here so then you just seem like less lame that like you weren't conversing with people, I guess. So it was just like but I wouldn't even think that hard about it at the time, like I
It's not
think
overthinking about what you're saying to people because in the end, it doesn't matter.
right. I think I'm just like naturally like an introvert and like in certain situations like I would push myself like out of my comfort zone and it would like end up good sometimes, but it also would end up like me just overthinking about a lot of things and then just making me even more like insecure and exhausting me a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
So
would
like
think
I
so.
think it all just like came with like understanding like my balance of like what I actually like need, and I feel like I'm like at that place now, but I feel like through like college and stuff like I was like my balance just like got a little bit off where I was just like getting to the point where I was like overthinking it like way too much.
It sounds like you're overthinking everything.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you say doesn't matter.
Well yeah, I think now like
Just
I'm
be you.
yeah, like I feel like now like I don't overthink it like as much and everything, and like
Good.
especially with doing something like Bumble BFF and like I did push myself out of the comfort zone, but I also think since it was like kind of an awkward experience where like you're literally meeting up to like hopefully make friends with someone, so it's like you do it and it's awkward and like they also know that it's awkward. So it's like if you both acknowledge that it's awkward, then it's like not awkward, you know? So yeah. So it's like I don't know, like if you just go into it being like, yeah, this is kind of weird, and like they are also like, yeah, it's weird, and but then it's like it's not weird if you both think it's weird.
And then you know each other more and more. You get
Right.
together, you go out on weekends.
Yeah, and I think that's just like how I ended up like clicking with like certain people because it's like if it came like a little bit more naturally, then it's like, well, yeah, that's definitely someone that I can like be friends with, you know.
I don't
So
know.
yeah.
To me, they just are.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's the thing where it's like the whole going back to like unplanned interactions thing because it's
Right.
like when it is like that then that's how a friendship like grows like super organically, but like when it's planned it feels very like unnatural, but
Yeah.
sometimes it has to be like that at first, especially when you're out of college.
Well, I'm at this age, old enough, as the we say, and I'm good with it. I mean, I've been through everything. You're just starting.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't feel like I am though, you know, like when you're like at my age you don't feel like you're just starting like you
Well,
feel like
you're
like
23.
already behind.
Oh my God! Wait, so many changes. You change the way you think. You change everything. I did anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And I mean, I know that like there's like a whole life ahead and like who knows where I'll even like be in like 5 years, but it's I guess like when you think about it so hard, then it like you feel like you're already like behind it. Like you don't feel like you're new to it. So,
I
but
wish you
yeah.
could change your mindset, and that's all it
Well, yeah.
is.
I know, but that's like something that I've like worked on for like the past year.
I
Like that's a
know.
whole big part of like me doing everything that I'm doing.
I mean, I
So,
would never rehearse what I'm going to talk to with somebody in my head.
well, I want to like rehearse what I was going to talk about. I just would worry that I would run out of things to say. And like then it would be awkward and it would be like my fault because I'm an awkward
That's
person.
not true.
Well, I know, but like that's just like what happens when you like are anxious about like just being in big like social settings where like you're forced to talk to people you're not comfortable with. But that's life.
But
So,
you went into bars though, anyway. So
but yeah, and I still did it and like I still like made friends and it ended up being okay. Like it's always gonna be okay. Even if you have an awkward conversation with someone, like you're no one's gonna die from it. Like
so what?
yeah. Which is like what I'm like learning. I'm just saying at the time it was like just so much like overthinking and then like feeling like you don't fit in because these people like when you're like I feel like introverts are like so insecure about being introverts because it's like they feel like they don't fit in like extroverted situations.
Probably you're right. Of
So,
course you are.
yeah. So then it's like you just have to like find your balance of like what you like need and want to feel comfortable. But yeah, I feel like as far as like and I wanted to talk about like personality types now because I feel like it totally ties into friendships and like why you might like click with certain people and things like that. So, as far as personality types, like what I looked into the most was the Myers-Briggs type indicator test and like that just seems like the most commonly like used thing. So basically you can take a test and I can also put like the link to take the test in this bio if anyone wants to take the test too. But the Myers-Briggs type indicator test it has 16 different personality types and it's basically split into four categories and then each category is like a scale between two different characteristics. So then from each category, people are assigned one letter that best aligns with their answers. So in the end, you end up with a four-letter personality type. So just to go through it really quick. So the four categories, the first categories is extroversion versus introversion. So extroversion is the E letter, and then introversion is the I letter. And then I think that this one's pretty self-explanatory. Like everyone kind of knows the difference. But basically, like extroverts are they feel energized after they spend time with people, and they're more like outward turning. And then introverts feel more energized and recharged after they spend time alone, and they're more inward turning, and they're more into like deep social interactions with like a small amount of people compared to like a lot of interactions with a big group of people. Um, so that's just kind of like how that category is how people interact with the environment around them. So then the second category is where people direct their mental energy to. So the two characteristics in this category are sensing and intuition. So sensing is the S letter, and that one is more of a focus on reality and focusing on like your own physical senses and hands-on experience. Whereas intuition, which is the N letter, is paying more attention to patterns and possibilities, things like the future and more abstract ideals. So I guess not like the tangible things that you are like right in front of you, just more like abstract thoughts and like futuristic things. Then the third category is how people make decisions and how people cope with their emotions. So the two characteristics in this category are thinking, which is the T letter, and then feeling, which is the F letter. And then thinking is more like placing emphasis on the facts and objective data, so more like logical things. And then feeling is when you consider people's emotions when you're making decisions. So then the last category is how people approach like work and planning and decision making. And then the first characteristic in that is judging, which is the J letter. And those are people who prefer like structure, like organization and like firm decisions versus perceiving, which is the P letter, which are people who are more like flexible and adaptable when it comes to like planning ahead. So,
So that being said,
we both took the personality test. So I wanted to like go through that really quick and just like talk about really how like where we fit in and like how we interact with other people. So my personality type was INFJ. So, how I interact with the environment, I am more introverted. So, I like being like I guess I need like to be alone to recharge myself, and I like having deep interactions with people. And then for where I direct my mental energy, I'm more intuitive, so I pay more attention to patterns in the future and like abstract ideas. My third category, how I make decisions and cope with my emotions. I got more feeling, so I got F. So I guess I consider people's emotions when I'm like making decisions. And then for the fourth category, how I approach work and planning and also decision making, I have judging, so I prefer structure and firm decisions rather than like being like adaptable to planning. So like I like planning ahead and like I like structure to it. So altogether, my personality type is INFJ, and I'm considered an advocate.
Good.
Which is that. So an advocate is someone who is complex, versatile, and also I guess I'm the rarest type of personality.
There you go.
Yeah, so
Celebrate that.
right. So that's my personality type. So then before we did this podcast, I helped you go through the personality test. And your personality type is ESFP. So for the first category of how you interact with the environment, you're more extroverted. And then for the second category of where you direct your mental energy, you're more observant. So you are considered sensing and you focus on reality more in like your own senses and hand-on experiences.
I don't know about that.
So then for the third category, how you make decisions and cope with emotions, your feelings. So you consider people's emotions when you're making decisions. And then for the fourth category of how you approach like work and planning, your perspective. So you are more flexible and adaptable and you don't have to plan like ahead of things. Like you just take things as they come.
Pretty much.
So altogether, you're ESFP and you're considered an entertainer, which is like a person of action. You like to engage in life eagerly and you enjoy vibrant experiences.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. So what I think is really funny from this is that we're literally like
Opposite.
we're almost exactly opposite besides one letter. We have the same. But other than that, we're like complete opposites.
And look at how we get along.
I know. Which is funny because it's like, I mean, I guess we've been like forced to like be around each other. Like, well, not like, you know what I mean. Like, we're not strangers who like met one day and decided to hang out. Like, we have always grown up together, but it's like,
Yeah, we did a lot together.
but it is funny how we're like opposites and like, I feel like I get along with you like the most. So it's funny how we're like opposites, I guess. But I think it goes back to the point where it's like you don't have to have the same personality type to get along with someone. It just basically is like how your certain characteristics like mesh together. Like you can be opposites to someone, but the way that you're opposite is like good for each other. But you can also be opposites and it be bad
for each other.
Yeah. But so that's why like I don't know what side of the debate I'm on as far as like opposites attract and stuff. I think like do you think that opposites attract or do you think it's like people who are more similar attract each other better?
I think similar. I mean, you either, I go to the pool and there's a lot of people there, and, I'm just friends with a few of them, good friends. And the other ones, I say, hi, how are you? That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, you picked that group.
Right. Yeah, I think it's like I think you have to have enough in common and enough different in people, you know? Like I think it's kind of a blend of both. Like I think that you have to like for in order like I feel like in every friendship I've had, like I've never been exactly the same as someone.
Right. No, you each have, yeah.
Like I feel like you have to have enough differences, but you also have to have like enough similarities. So like I feel like you end up being friends with people where it's like a good medium, you know?
Well, I just have these girlfriends and we just laugh and
Right. Yeah, and like I feel like once you get comfortable with people too, like things like change and like it ends up being like more easy and smooth and things like that. So it's just like I guess like a time factor too of how comfortable you get around each other. But as far as like how our types of personalities like connect with other people. So what I read for my personality type is that I value like deep and authentic relationships. And I guess my personality type really settles for friendships for convenience, and we prefer to have a close circle of friends, which I definitely like agree with. Like, I feel like I've definitely been someone who liked having like a circle of people I was like close with.
It's the best.
Right, like especially like throughout like college and now, like I feel like I value more like close, small friend groups rather than like big.
Well, everything changes. It just changes.
Right. I feel like it's just like that's true, but like I feel like for my personality type, like it's so much easier for me to have like a group of people who I'm like close with, like and can feel comfortable. Like I like being with people where like we can be together and we don't have to talk and it's like not weird. Like we're just like together, you know?
Yes.
Versus like I feel like when you're in like a large group of people that you're not that comfortable with, like you kind of feel like forced to like talk to them because then it's like weird if you don't, if you're not that comfortable around them. So I feel like definitely for me and like how where like my energy lies, I like having a close, small group of friends.
Well, I think you're lucky if you have like three close friends.
Right.
I mean, you can't, they're just acquaintances, or some are a little more, but
Yeah. But yeah, so I think I could totally see how like that just matches my personality type, like that little paragraph. And then also like I read that people with my personality type tend to light up around friends who share their passions, interests, and beliefs and like to connect on meaningful ideas, which like I definitely like value that with people. Like I feel like if I can talk to someone like more than just like superficial things, like I like talking about like actual I like diving into topics about things rather than just like talking about superficial things. Like I'd rather talk about like actual topics that are happening and like go deep into something rather than just being like, "Oh, like how was your day?" blah 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 and having it just be like, like a generic.
well, now because of my age, all the people are the same way. So, I mean, we say, like, what's on TV? What am I going to watch tonight? What are you watching? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's how we interact.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like for me, like every friend that I've ever been like close with, like I've been able to like sit down and like we can like talk about like one topic for like a long time and it always ends up being like one of my like favorite conversations. Like when we can talk about like something like deep, like I'll like how I said like how I talked to my friends with like about like the Ukraine war and like everything that's happening there, or like I'll even like I used to like sit with like my roommates and we would talk about like our opinions on like religion or like the afterlife for like hours. So like I feel like interactions like that where like I'm like sitting down, like we can just like actually like talk about like things and like we agree about a lot of things. Like I like value those conversations a lot. And I feel like that's what like makes me click with people better. But and another thing that I read about my personality type that I find is interesting, I said that advocates can befriend people who might seem totally different from them but are compatible on a deeper level.
Well, see, that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Which is like exactly what like I was saying too. And like I feel like that's like the same like I feel like I'm as an introvert, I like kind of feel like I've like tended to be friends with extroverts because it kind of is like
Got you to be a,
right. Like I feel like it's like what I needed to it was just like, like not like filling a gap for me, but it was like I mean, when you look at like my relationship with Brett, like he literally got like your personality type. Like so
I see
which
that.
is like kind of opposite. So it's like and he's even said like himself that like he like likes how I am introverted and like I'm not like very extroverted.
He likes that?
Yeah. So it's like I feel like it's
Well, you
like
are what you are.
well, right. But I mean I am what I am, but like no one has to choose to like be in a relationship with me like I would get if like I didn't click with someone, you
Well,
know?
all right.
So it's like I feel like as far as like personality goes, it's like especially for me, like I totally like agree with that statement because it's like I feel like I can be like really good friends and like be in relationships with people who are a lot different from me. But then if I'm able to be compatible with them like on a deeper level, then like I think I'll appreciate that relationship more than if we were just like completely similar. Like if we're different, like in how we like maybe treat everyday life, but we can like talk about a certain topic for like hours, like I think that like that would be like the perfect
I know. It's
like
just,
addition to my life, because then it's like you're like also like supplementing like the things that I maybe like lack, but like we also can like spend quality time together on like things that are like important to us, which I think is like a very strong like
yeah.
friendship or relationship.
I mean, you'll probably be friends with Alexis all your life.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, yeah, and like Alexis is like one of my friends who we've been friends with like since like eighth grade. And like she's like my like sister, because I feel like I feel like me and Alexis are different about like so many things. Like I think we have like a lot of different personalities, but I also feel like me and her like can like go back and like connect to like the roots well, which I feel like makes us like more like family than like,
yes,
like friends.
I
So
agree.
if because like I feel like and like I feel like we like also like will like fight like sisters and like we bicker and stuff like that, but I also feel like we have like shared like roots together where it's like we can go back and connect to those things which are like
Memories.
important to us and things like that. So, but yeah, that's my personality type. To go into your personality type a little bit, what I was reading of yours, it said that like you have a really easy time making friends as your personality type, and also you like to seek out a diversity of personality types and perspectives among your friends.
Yes.
So do you think that like your friends like are kind of like all different from each other, or do you think
Yeah, they are.
so like you like your friend groups have like a lot of different personalities in them?
Yes.
Like would you also, I feel like I just started talking so fast randomly.
It's okay.
But
It's all right.
so would you like would you say that you like getting along with people maybe who are like different than you more, or, like similar?
Well, I like people with similar interest.
Right. But they might have a different personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and I feel like that's just like, I don't know. Maybe we just like found out the key to friendship is like maybe finding people who are different from you but have similar
I
interests and
don't know
like
how they
goals.
pass through your life, and some you stay with, and some you go, no, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah, and it is weird, and it's, I don't know. I feel like there's also been times in my life where like I feel like I've like drifted away from people and then like reconnected and then been like really happy that we like reconnected, you know.
Yeah, but you know what? You have a job, you work 5 days a week, and then the weekend comes, you have to like clean the house. I don't know what you do. Do you?
Yeah, I come here.
And then you come here. No, I'm just saying, then you
Right. I
don't really
mean,
have time.
yeah, and I think it's like I think that's another reason why like I stopped going on that like Bumble BFF app, because it got like so overwhelming that I was like not having enough time to like do the things that I needed to do,
You
you know?
didn't,
Because
though.
it was like I was just kind of spending so much time on like trying to build relationships with like random people, and it was kind of like okay, like I need to like figure out like my needs first too, and like make sure I have enough time for myself. And also, I like felt like I was maybe like spending so much time on that that I wasn't hanging out with the people who were already in my life, you know? And like I kind of just had to like go back and like find the balance and like just kind of like go along with what was like easiest for me.
Well,
And
you
like,
have Brett to contend with. That's one thing. You're working all
yeah,
day. That's another thing.
right. And like,
So,
yeah. And like,
you don't
it's
have time.
right. And the entire balance of my life now is like so off because, well, not
No.
in a negative way. I'm saying
Okay.
like I was in school from kindergarten to the end of college, and like that was just such a different lifestyle because you go to school from like 8 to 4,
All right.
which is like a full-time job, and
Hmm.
then I would do homework, or I would be in like a sport, or I would study. Like so in high school it's like I had like less homework and less studying, but I worked like 3 days a week. I had cheerleading like twice a week,
Yeah, you're
and then I still would have homework and studying. And then college, like my major was so intense, I would like literally do like 50 hours of work, like just like I swear to God, just like homework and studying. Like there would be days where I would study for like 12 hours straight. So now it's like so weird having my weekends open
I know.
and like and then coming home from work and not having to do homework
Right.
or things like that. It's like it's awesome because I have like free time, and then so then I found myself like kind of like racking up too much stuff and like not really just enjoying the free time. Like I feel like I was just trying to like fill it up with like stuff like I don't know, just doing random things, like trying to
Yeah.
meet new people,
Well,
like doing like
well, you and Brett do a lot. I mean,
right.
you go to the Hoffer House, and that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, that is.
Yeah.
Don't you have fun there?
Yeah. We go there like twice a year. Yeah. Well, I mean, we do like a lot, but I feel like there's been times where I've tried to overbook my schedule with stuff and it just like kind of burns me out. I'm like, okay, I need to like take a step back now and
Yeah.
like just like go back to like, maybe spending like a few days to myself because like my personality type says, I need time to prioritize like reconnecting with myself, which is like I think a lot of introverts like need. It's like we can like try and like overbook ourselves even with people that we feel comfortable with, but like at the end of the day, like you still need to take like time to like recharge. So like there was like even like this past winter I was like trying to keep super busy because like I remember last winter, my first like winter back in Cleveland, like I hated the cold like for more than a month. Like I was just getting like, and it was making me like really upset and I felt like I had like nothing to do and like I just hated the feeling of it, just like
It
feeling
is a
stuck
horrible.
inside.
I know.
And it was like winter combined with COVID, so like I just hated it. So then this winter I was like I want to stay really busy. So like I had 2 weeks where I was doing something every night and every weekend, and I was like,
And working too?
yeah, and working, and like I was like doing like we went to like trivia, like hanging out with like my friends a few nights a week. Like we were like watching episodes together, and then it was
That's
like
fun.
me and Brett were doing something together, and then like stuff on the weekends, and like then we were doing this podcast and stuff. So it was like I was doing something, like I was doing work and I was also doing something like every night and every weekend, and I like got so burnt out from it. I was
I
like, okay,
know.
like now I need to spend like a few nights just me,
Yes.
like just doing something, because like as an introvert and like someone who like likes to spend time alone, sometimes like I like needed to recharge. And then I also feel like in turn that makes me like a better friend because like I can be more like present when I'm like with people.
Do you talk on the phone a lot or no?
No, I hate talking on the
You
phone.
hate talking on the phone.
Alexa's always like FaceTiming. I hate FaceTiming. I hate FaceTiming so much. Like, well, like I don't hate talking on the phone. Like I'll call people to like make appointments and stuff. Like I'm fine with that, but I'm saying like I don't like just like when I'm home, I don't like in my free time like talking on the phone.
Oh, I talk on the phone a lot.
I know. I hate sitting on the phone like when I like talking to people in person. But like for some reason, like when I'm like home, like not doing anything, like I don't like sitting on the phone and talking. Like I'd rather talk to someone in person.
Yeah, well, it depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah, or like if someone like sometimes like if like my mom has like a question, she'll like call me.
Yeah.
And I just like you could have just texted me that like a type of thing where it's just like easier because like I'm just like I don't know. Sometimes I don't like just like I don't like sitting on the phone for like hours. I'd rather just do it in person because like when I'm home like that, like I'd like to spend time for myself.
Right.
Like so it's like for me it's more so like it's like when I have like the like energy to like go out and like hang out with people, I will, but like when I'm home, like I like that to be just me or like who I'm with type of thing.
Right.
Where it's like the same thing where like you don't like talking on the phone when I'm over because it's like I'm over, so like you're hanging out with me.
Right. Why would I talk on the phone?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just more of those things where I'd rather like either talk in person with
Oh, I
people or
see.
like talk to who I'm with
Okay.
with being on the phone. But yeah.
So the whole thing is you click with some people and some people you just don't.
Right. And I mean, I guess we don't know like the magic formula to like why. I don't think anyone will ever know, but I feel like as far as like our little self-revelation is that we kind of click with people who are different but similar at the same time.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, those are our experiences with making friends and our personality types. I'll put the link to the personality quiz that we took in the bio for the episode so that anyone else can take the quiz too. But yeah, we hope that you enjoyed the episode. If you have any feedback for us, just let us know. Feel free to rate us on Spotify and Apple. And thank you for listening, like always. Do you have anything to say?
I was just thinking it was good. I don't know if we solve the world's problems, but
yeah, thank you for listening. We will be back in 2 weeks with a new topic. So yeah, thank you, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Bye.
Bye.